Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine, flying solo right now. As this time of the year, everybody, this is the big gulch. You know, it's like the NBA playoffs are over, thank God, and I can't believe that season drags on. Baseball, where the Guardians are actually doing well and have won 13 of their last 16, but nobody cares. And the Browns are basically doing nothing but basically getting injured in soft tissue areas from non-contact drills. Today's program is my belief why the Browns are not going to be big winners in the coming season. In fact, I believe that the Browns will be in third place in the AFC North, and they will not really be in shouting distance of the top two teams. And I'll also say that the Bengals will go as far as Joe Burrow will take them, and the Ravens will have to figure out the enigmatic Lamar Jackson before I can really make a complete prediction. And remember, this is subject to all kinds of possible changes, but a few things are becoming apparent. One is that Deshaun Watson is going to get whacked big time. And the thing that bothers me about this more than anything, and not as a fan, but just as a way that all of this civil action stuff lays out, you could run a person's name through the mud and make things look 5, 10, 15 times worse than they are. And there is no way that you can defend yourself against it. I already know. I've already been part of something like this. Back when I owned business, a person tried to take me on, a female, who claimed that I acted inappropriately in an office. Now, it didn't end up so good for her anyway. But word got around the community, and I was just new in the community, and it put a bad spin on me. Fortunately, people got to know me in the community, and they realized I'm not that kind of cow. The kind of cow I am may be equally unlikable, but in a completely different way. But trying to, it's kind of like, how would I describe it? It's like being accused of any heinous crime. There's always going to be the question, did they do this? Are they guilty? And it will hang with them for the rest of their lives. And this will last the rest of Deshaun Watson's football career, as long as he's in Cleveland. If he goes somewhere else, he'll become a hero. You have to understand, they've got him under their foot, and that's where he is going to remain. And everything that could possibly go wrong, if he does get to play this year, which is looking slimmer and slimmer by the moment, any errors that he makes will be compounded by the media as karma that he shouldn't be playing in the first place. You know that something's up when the NFLPA, the Players Association, is trying to mount a counterattack. I find this to be one of the more interesting things, seeing as how I already discussed this in a previous program. It's like what Robert Kraft did is worse. But the NFLPA agrees with me. But you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody in the small circle of right-wing football owners who would ever take sides against one another. The NFLPA is mounting a counterattack with the assumption that they are going to dole out some horrendous punishment on Deshaun Watson. I pretty well knew the second it came down to the civil suit, I know how these things go. And because it timed out, people were saying, well, why are they being so nice as to allow him to play a football game and play a season? No, they're not going to take this to court during the season. They knew he wasn't going to play because they were going to bury his name. Yeah, these extra people coming out of the woodwork. Bullshit. I'm not saying that no woman suffered here. I think they did. And I think he's going to get what he deserves one way or the other. But these people now, I mean, superfluously coming in at the end. What, you didn't think you had a chance to make money and now all of a sudden, hey, we're going to get all the getting's good? Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And it creates more story, more media to write about it, and more heat on the NFL, because this is really no different than what happens in Hollywood, folks. And I know a lot of the people who watch this program think the people in Hollywood are cuckoo. I'm not going to argue with you. The people in Hollywood kind of are cuckoo. They're the Democrats' version of cuckoo. And a lot of the people who watch this program are partially on the Republican cuckoo train. But the one thing about, and you should know this, take a guy like the guy who played Mr. Big on Sex and the City. Once a complaint came out on him, a couple of complaints, they wrote him out of a series before it began. They killed him in the first episode and refused to show his image again for the rest of the season, and never again will you see him. Fred Savage, the guy who was little Kevin in the Wonder Years, who was the executive producer of the, well, it's not a spinoff, it's a reboot of the series, had complaints against him. They fired him immediately. You'll never hear from him again. Woody Allen never had a significant, meaningful movie after Mia Farrow made the accusations. Gone. Done. It really makes you wonder how someone like Harvey Weinstein could have gotten away with it as long as he did. But man, when the floodgates opened, the floodgates opened. And this is what we have here. It's the same, what you folks would call a cuckoo reaction, except this time the cuckoo reaction works in a different way, in a different venue. Is he innocent? Is he guilty? I don't think any of us really believe he's innocent. Is he guilty of what? Doesn't matter anymore. They've smeared his name to the degree that it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you something else. The media is really good at this. They've smeared Baker Mayfield too. Everyone says, whoa, I bet Baker, I bet Baker's really better off being away from Cleveland. Not until he lands somewhere. His story has become how he is identified, and he can't get a job. The Panthers are playing with their penises, folks. Jerking off. Yeah, we still have interest. Yeah, we do. We still have interest. Oh, we're just humming until you accept to make the $18.8 million number. And Baker's got no job. So that's that. Certainly you jest. No, Rudy. No. If flirting is whipping your dick out, no. And I'm not a crazy cuckoo Hollywood person. Personally, I think he does his time, pays his fine, whatever the deal is, and he's a football player. But no, that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works in Hollywood either. Careers are totally ruined, and people are never seen again when accusations come out. Whether the accusations are from sound, solid people are fruitcakes like Rose McGowan. It doesn't matter. The source of the complaint doesn't matter. We know nothing about the backgrounds of 24 women. Nothing. Have I watched regular TV lately? I'm not a prolific TV watcher. No. You're talking about television, not transvestites, correct? I wouldn't know a regular from an irregular transvestite, just so you know. No, I don't dwell on regular TV, and I don't know what that could possibly have to do with Deshaun Watson. What he's guilty of is A, being stupid, B, being inconsiderate, and C, being unprofessional, and D, representing his team and his profession badly. I count 4. Vince McMahon isn't going to get dick. He's not going to get anything. What's Mrs. McMahon? Well, who is going to... Oh, I'm going to step down. I'm going to step down as the CEO. Then I'm going to get all my right-wing buddies here. I'm doing my Vince. I'm going to do what I have to do to pay my people to get my ass out of trouble. That's what Vince is going to do. He's going to Bob Kraft his way right out of it. Just like Robert did. On film. You know, the thing that's amazing is you can have a guy, and you know what they did? Oh, no. They recorded him illegally. Well, I mean, you know, he didn't know about it. Well, if he knew about it, hey, Bob, you want to go in there and get a hand job? And, hey, smile for the camera, Bob. Come on. They have stings all over the place. They shut these damn massage parlors down all the time, and they get reopened because the municipality gets paid. They shut them down all the time, and they're raided. Nobody ever says to the Korean massage sex slave person, you know, oh, no, we're going to throw the video away. You know, they plant cameras in those places to know what's going on. They do it all the time. Not in the NFL, not if you're one of the chosen ones, one of the 32. It doesn't work that way. You can screw a whore. You can screw a foreign sex slave. Jimmy Haslam can screw the Browns fans. They can screw and screw and screw and screw and never have a problem. It's just the way it works. This guy wants to get into a debate. This is the first time a massage therapist has ever been propositioned. Now, prepositioned would be kind of a grammatical thing, Rudy. You mean propositioned. There's a difference between being propositioned. Hey, you know, you doing something? Maybe you want to go out for a bite to eat after the massage session? And putting her hand on your dick. There's a big difference, Rudy. And if you don't see that difference, then maybe, maybe there is some hope for Rudy after all. Yeah, I mean, there is a difference. I mean, I'm not going to tell you. It bothers me when it's referred to as rape because it's not rape. All right. But it's deserving of punishment. The NFLPA is now bringing up the names of a couple of different names associated with the hierarchy of the NFL to try to make a point that basically Roger Goodell, who was hired by the 32 owners, is never going to agree with. Basically, the strategy for the NFLPA, it plans to argue that any suspension for Watson without pay would be excessive in the wake of light treatment of Daniel Snyder, Robert Kraft, and Jerry Jones. They're the holy trinity of doofotches, all right? But there are a couple of names that are bothering me that keep popping up. One is Mike Florio. Now, Mike Florio's trying to make a name for himself desperately. He reminds me of a politician who's pandering. Pro Football Talks Mike Florio. Mike Florio is way too invested in this, like Rich Eisen is. Do you know that it was so funny? We get sound bites that are edited of two of the women on HBO Real Sports who have a story to tell, right? And the whole piece lasted maybe about 8 minutes of actual video time. And that included comments from the attorneys as well as the women themselves. So they kept the women's profile as low as they could on the program. And Rich Eisen's like, now these people are believable. These people are believable. Why don't you date one of them, Rich? And you see how believable they are. I can't tell if somebody's believable because they get cleaned up, put on camera, and they say something. Believable, if you're already leaning toward one belief, anything's believable. The used car salesman who tells you something about this baby here only has, 18,000 miles on it. If you don't check the odometer to see if it's been rolled over and you're looking at the car because it looks older, you're just stupid if you believe that. Oh, he was believable. So when Deshaun Watson goes on to try to defend himself, bad idea. Leave the blocking to your offensive line. It's like, and he comes out there and says, I have done nothing wrong. I'm going to say it again. I never assaulted a woman in my life. I didn't do these things. I'm going to clear my name. And Rich Eisen says, now who would believe that? Who would believe that a man's innocent until he's proven guilty? Who would believe such a thing, Rich Eisen says. Well, the jurisprudence system, the way that it used to be in America, I suppose. And Florio's the other guy. Florio will go down with the ship or go down on Bob Kraft so he doesn't have to go to the little handy shacks. And of course, Busby, who is now becoming everybody's favorite lawyer. We already know the other guy's a liar, okay? Rusty Hardin. We already know. Busby says he plans to file 2 more suits in due course. When it's really going to hurt him in the worst possible way, we're going to try to hit him in the pocketbook so that he's going to turn over as much money to these women as we ask. We're going to bilk him just like an extortionist. Except you know what we do? What's that, Mr. Busby? We use the media. We smear somebody by giving them a salacious story and letting them do the work. They're kind of like scrubbing bubbles. So basically, the whole idea for the NFLPA is to say, now, wait a minute here. Bob Kraft, ownership and club or league management have traditionally been held to a higher standard and will be subject to more significant discipline when violations of the personal conduct policy occur. That is in the NFL's personal conduct policy. That the owners, it literally is verbally in there. are subject to more significant discipline. So what, do they walk on fucking water? Where is the significant discipline for the 32 favored ones? How did Jimmy Haslam get his hands on the Cleveland Browns when he cheated people? He committed a crime. The NFL didn't do nothing, did they? They didn't do a goddamn thing. They voted him right through. Hey, here's another sucker, another loser. It's going to make my job easier. Wait. My American flag lapel is a little slanted here. As far as Snyder is concerned, the NFLPA is going to argue that his punishment, in light of the findings and potential recommendations of attorney Beth Wilkinson, was weak and not fully enforced. As to Kraft, the union will argue that Kraft received no punishment. He was charged with solicitation. He solicited a prostitute. And you know why they were able to come up with that charge? Because the woman couldn't speak English, couldn't defend herself. She was Korean, so she had to have been a prostitute. Somebody wrote something on Twitter, Garrett Bush, that if this punishment comes down for Deshaun Watson and it's some earth-shaking thing, that it's the whole that it will be proof that this is another case of racism at work. Now, I am a white guy, all right? Pretty fly, but I'm a white guy. I went to a white high school. I went to Miami of Ohio, which back in the 1970s, 75, 76, 77, 78, was lily white, except for the athletes. But I've got eyes, and I can see what happens. And I wrote back to Garrett, and I said to him, it isn't just this, because I would not rest anything on the Deshaun Watson case because he did something wrong. I will rest my case on Colin Kaepernick, who's never played again, and now allegedly somebody wants to maybe give him a chance to make themselves look like they're better people than they are. Hell, do you know how many times Tim Tebow took a knee on a football field? More often than people would in church. Give me a break. One guy gets 14 chances, and the other guy's out of the league and never plays again. It's just like that. It's always been like that. I'll tell you another one here that bothered the bejeebers out of me. I don't know if you guys know who Amy Schneider is. She was the transgender person who was the Jeopardy champion for like 44 consecutive wins. And in San Francisco, the name of their ballpark, Oracle Stadium, they were celebrating Pride Day. Pride Day. That's a big thing in the LGBTQ community. Big thing, especially in San Francisco, yeah. So they got Amy Schneider to come out and throw out the first pitch. Fox was broadcasting the game. And right when it was time for Amy Schneider to come out and throw the first pitch, they cut away. And they show some NASCAR guy, white guy, throwing a first pitch from the day before. And by the time that they got back to the stadium, there was no sign that Amy Schneider even existed. That's hate. That's the kind of despicable behavior I'm talking about. Garrett Bush, this is the way America is. and it stinks. And then the people at Fox, oh no, we had an arrangement with NASCAR. Yeah, you had an arrangement with NASCAR. Yeah, it was part of a pre-promotion of a race that was coming up. Yada, 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 yada. You didn't want to put a transgender person on the screen throwing a first pitch, ceremonial pitch on Pride Day in San Francisco. Then get the fuck out of San Francisco. Don't make revenue. Don't wonder why gay fans don't come flooding out to the ballpark, you stupid fucks. It doesn't, I don't need Deshaun Watson to talk about how much intolerance there is in society. I don't need that. But the 32 men who own the franchises, they destroy the film of him soliciting, receiving, and paying for the act. And they destroy the evidence for him when the police departments do the exact same thing to trap the slave people from Korea who are in those shops so they can kick them out of the country, so that more will come in and that local politicians will continue to pay the massage parlors to operate. Oh, Rudy's not done. How about now? No, things are not better. Things aren't going to get better. Why would they? You have two political sides who are absolutely crazy. Why would they get better? The economy isn't getting better either. It's just the way it works. So, to go back to the original point of the program, why don't I think the Browns are going to be winners? One is because Deshaun Watson is going to get a massive suspension. That's why. And right off the bat, Jacoby Brissett can't play football at the level to win in the AFC North. That's an obvious reason. Second of all, catching passes without being hit means nothing if you're David Bell. And if you're starting a rookie in the slot, you're going to have some issues as to A, whether he can play at this level or not. And you put him together with Jacoby Brissett, the passing game is not going to be that effective because Amari Cooper will be double teamed everywhere he goes. There are other reasons why I believe that the Browns are not going to be big winners this year. Already, Denzel Ward hurt. Greedy Williams hurt. Are these people ever healthy? I got an idea for you, Rudy. Really. Am I sure that things aren't going to get better? Why don't you put on a pair of Nike tennis shoes and just transfer your being into the next existence? Because you're not looking at reality, dude. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I really am. You probably honestly believe that we're on the cusp of morning in America when your people get elected. I know the sound of it. I don't even need to know how you vote. I can see the words that you use. You're part of the problem. So are the people on the far left. Part of the problem. That's why things aren't going to get better. That's why the Supreme Court has leaks now when they never did. Why should I have to explain this to people? Denzel Ward actually got MRIs and x-rays on his left foot. And these are the types of reports that don't make me real optimistic, folks. Headline: Browns cornerback Denzel Ward's MRI and x-rays on left foot showed nothing too serious. Should be ready for training camp, source says. Now, what in the fuck does that mean? Well, they're not obligated to disclose what the injuries are. Not too serious. Well, Jesus Christ, there was no fucking contact. What, did a mosquito bite him and he sprained his ankle? And now he's the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. And mark my words, he'll be out of there in a big furry hurry. That's the way it works. Injuries have really been a factor. Greedy Williams also hurt again. They say he sprained an ankle. The last time he sprained something, it took forever for him to come back. Now they're saying, well, both men will be there, in the end. He's going to be good for the beginning of training camp. But both of them might be off to the side. Riding a bike? Probably. Here's another one. Jadeveon Clowney wants to explain why he came to Cleveland. He should have spared us, so he could play again with Deshaun Watson. Well, how much effort is there going to be from Jadeveon Clowney in his 1 year that he signed with Cleveland playing with Jacoby Brissett? He's telling the story himself. Here's what Jadeveon Clowney said. I thought I played well here last year. I feel like I can get better and pick up from what I did last year. But then my boy came here, Deshaun. Me and Garrett did some good things together, Clowney said. We got along well. We played well together. We fed off each other. We're going to do the same thing this year, even better. We got a good thing going from last year. We want to keep it going this year. But what tipped the scales for Clowney? The opportunity to play with Watson again, his former teammate for the losing Houston Texans. I was all about where my boy Deshaun was going, Clowney said. I just wanted to go play with him and see what I can do with him again. How many I's were in that sentence? 1, 2, 3. Any me's in there as well? A source told ESPN that Clowney spoke to Watson the week of the trade while Watson was still considering the Saints, the Panthers, or the Falcons. Clowney gave the Browns a strong endorsement. I told him if he goes to Cleveland that I'll follow him over here, Clowney said. That's what it came down to. That's another reason why I believe he's going to have a shit fuck year, and he didn't really want to come to Cleveland for the third time. Okay? You're not going to get shit for production from Jadeveon Clowney. You heard it from me first. Why can't somebody just stand up and say, I came back because these people gave me an opportunity to resurrect my career, and I did a good job, and I want to do a better job because I want to be able to reward the people who gave me a chance because nobody else gave me a chance. No. That would be asking. Nor you me, Rudy. I love my viewers. Are you kidding? They're too scarce. They're too few in number. I can't afford not to like them all. Like I would drive away 6 people. It would be horrific. No. I don't believe that his injury is serious, but I think that he is prone to missing time. And so is Greedy Williams. And that's 2 down at the same position. And we have faced this in our defensive secondary for a couple of years now. This is an interesting one that I didn't read. How you doing, Coach Wilson? This guy's a cool guy. This is a guy who's career oriented. I like this guy. He and I had a few conversations, and I didn't. He canceled the last 2 weeks of spring practices. A lot of teams are getting fined for too much contact. I know you'd have Coach Wilson is college coach. All right, he works at the college level, and I'm sure you have point of view. I mean, how hard are people supposed to be going at this? But a couple of teams have been fined already. And of course, the Dallas Cowboys are right there with the list. The doofotch Jerry Jones, protected once and for all. Hey, MP, how you doing? I'm not sure that my work is good work, but it's 19 years worth. There's volume there, if nothing else. Yeah, I didn't know that Belichick canceled the last 2 weeks, but it gets to a point where what are you really accomplishing besides the guys go to the Bahamas, with Deshaun and getting together? I mean, what you have on one side of the equation is you've got teams that we got to get our guys ready. You have the NFLPA that's saying, no, not so fast because we can't afford to get our guys hurt. And we're bringing Bronk. Hey there, Bronk. How you doing there?
Oh, you all right there, rookie?
Hey there, I love your antlers.
Yes, they're big this time of year.
So
what? Greedy Williams? Is he the Greg Oden of the NFL? I mean,
he's just greedy when it comes to injuries. What can I tell you?
He's had more injuries than Greg Oden, Lawyer Tillman, and Lonnie Chisenhall put together. It's just unbelievable.
There are players like this, and and it's unfortunate, but a lot of times they get a rap because, oh, no, these people are not willing to, play through pain and all that. But some players, I mean, the whole Lonnie Chisenhall thing, does he even play baseball anymore?
God knows. I'd have to look it up.
Look it up, Bronk. You'll be my wiki wingman.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Lonnie Chisenhall and his perpetual calf injury. I've never seen anything like that before. I remember I was screaming on the air, get him a pair of fucking orthotics. There's something out of balance here.
Oh, what a night. He's 33 years old. So he should be playing.
In the independent league?
I don't know. He announced his retirement from baseball on February 21st, 2020. He had signed a deal with the Pirates in November 2018. And then he was placed on the injury reserve at the end of spring training. After sustaining an injury to his finger, he never played the game for the Pirates.
His finger?
His finger, yeah. Show us your finger. So they are.
Did it have to? Did it have to hurt his finger? Okay.
Oh, the Cranberries. She's dead too. Everybody's dead.
Oh, is the lead singer for the Cranberries gone?
Dolores O'Riordan. Yeah.
Oh wow, bummer.
Oh, that was. I can look that up. That was maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's horrible. I didn't mean to make fun of her song then. God, I must be some kind of zombie. Okay. Yeah.
Died in 2018.
Ooh, that's 4 years ago.
Yeah. Very dead.
My body's quite cold. Rivera was fined of the
the cancer on the Commanders.
Yeah. Don't. No, that would be Daniel Snyder.
I just want to be in bad taste today.
Today it's just one of those bad taste days. I'm with you.
Where's the BCOD? How's he doing?
Oh, you want to see that black cow of death? Here he is. He might as well make an appearance before the NFL makes his judgment. Yeah, Deshaun Watson. He knows. Look at him. This guy knows that
He knows what's going to happen.
Well,
He's all over
he
it.
feels the end of the season coming before it begins. That's the beauty of being the Black Cow of Death. And this poor fella here. What
Mr.
can I tell
Celery?
you?
Oh, the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy.
That's right. The white marshmallow of hope.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's being the Black Cow of Death is sitting on his face.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that, man. I mean, this guy, he makes brief appearances and then you never see him again because things end up going the wrong way. So Ron Rivera
this
go ahead.
Brown season, you need to bring back the Moohead barf bag.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was this bag that I left out here for those people who have not been around for very long. This was like right in their 1 and 31 and 1.
Oh God, yeah. Even prior to that, it was like
it probably was. No, it was probably the Pat Shurmur.
Yeah,
probably Pat Shurmur. Yeah. This bag was and so it just stayed there, and so I just used it. Every fucking post-game show, I would hurl into that bag. It was so worth it. So Rivera was fined $100,000 and lost 2 OTA practices for 2023 for excessive contact at practices.
Excessive contact. What does that mean in this Deshaun Watson era?
Well, I mean, the thing
that's
is,
in bad taste too, isn't it?
Yeah. Why? I don't know why they are even. Once they went up to 17 game seasons and all that, and there's only 2 preseason games. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. The whole thing, the first couple of games you're going to watch, even if the teams are good, they're not going to be really ready to play. And then the teams that aren't good, it's like Sam Darnold is like, but I didn't get enough reps. It's like poor Sam just throwing the ball to the other team, and people in Carolina will go, we should have gotten Baker. But Baker wouldn't have any preseason and get ready to work with a new team anyway. He's doomed no matter where he goes.
Doomed.
How in the hell is he going to go someplace and have no time to work with the offense?
I mean, he's almost better off missing an entire year.
Yes, he is.
He's
getting paid for this one.
Yeah, he might as well miss the whole year and hang out with Emily and go to Oklahoma games and be a big deal over there.
Yeah, Coach Wilson responds, these teams should be focusing on damage control and doing as little as necessary. You got to work smarter, not harder at the pro level. These are things that he would know. Athletes are like race cars, so fast and powerful, they're subject to breakdowns no matter what. So you might as well minimize the mileage. I mean, what really comes down to, it can happen at any moment, at any instant, on any play. And why waste it in a meaningless situation? It's tough.
Well, I think the whole league needs reforming. Like what they did when the NFL and the AFL met and they moved the Browns and the Colts and the Steelers over. I think, why not go back to 4 conferences based on region? Have like a East, Midwest, South, and West. Have a 14-game season where you got 8 teams in each conference. They play each other. And that's all they play. So we would be playing the Steelers, the Vikings, and the Lions, and the Bengals, and all that. And then play them twice. And then have the playoffs be the first 2 teams in each of those conferences. And then, work it out that way. And you'd be playing less games. You'd be playing against local rivals. The New York teams would play each other. The Philadelphia would play New York and Buffalo. I mean, I think it'd be a lot less travel, a lot less games, more meaningful games for fans, better playoff system, fairer. But the NFL won't do anything smart like that.
You know something? I bet you anything that Robert Kraft yelled at his attorneys for not getting his $300 back.
Probably.
I bet you. And Coach Wilson, thank you. I would like to have you on the panel. You'd be a great addition.
Somebody whose intelligence is always welcome on the panel.
This is a guy who works as a physical trainer. He knows his shit. Yeah. And a nice contact. If anytime you want to get a hold of me, mooheadradio@yahoo.com, or you can just let me know, and we'll make room for you. And I know that it's not easy when you're working, but if ever a time comes, feel free. We'd love to have you. Yeah, so you have the injuries, and when I start looking at what little has gone on as far as these non-contact practices, I don't know. I mean, I hope David Bell is a good player, but we're not going to be able to get a read on anything with Jacoby Brissett out there because he can't throw the ball down the field and complete anything. He's a dump off. He's a check off guy, a check down Charlie.
Hurt too. He's going to get sacked, and he'll get hurt, and we'll end up with some no-name third string quarterback by October, and we're going to suck.
Wow, we already have one. His name is Josh Dobbs, and I can't believe this guy hasn't even thrown a pass, or was it maybe 10 passes he's thrown in the NFL in his whole career? I mean, I got no trouble. What is he doing on a team that supposedly has playoff ambitions? Why would he be the third string quarterback? I mean, Mullins, the guy who we had before, was far more, adorned as far as his record compared to Josh Dobbs, who hasn't done a darn thing. It's a problem. So I see issues potentially cropping up, but more than anything, when the news of the suspension comes out, everyone is going to be hailing it as the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the whole league will say it served the Browns right. It served the Browns right. And that's going to be the karma argument. And that's what the Browns, ex-Browns fans who were never Browns fans will say. And me, I'm going to be here watching the games, and I would like the team to do well, but I will have my barf bag now that you reminded me. I will make sure.
I think we'll win a few games, but we're not going to put up anything more than 3 touchdowns a game.
That's the problem.
Anybody. We're not going to put up any points. I mean, they're going to just key on Chubb. They're going to key on Hunt. They're going to double team Cooper. So we have to rely on Brissett to Njoku and, the odd missed tackle on a kickoff return. The kickoff return guy's hurt, isn't he? Isn't that?
Oh, yeah, he is too. Yeah, the guy we got from Chicago.
He's hurt too, isn't
Jakeem Grant. Yeah.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah. He's not so fast right now. He is not a blur. I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention the NBA Finals, because I want to do something so badly here.
What, barf?
No. What I want to do.
The only team that I could enjoy seeing beat is the Celtics. So I hate the Celtics the most.
I just want to say this to you.
Yeah.
I'm watching from all the way out from the nether regions. This is Tommy Heinsohn. And I keep telling these people over and over again, you depend on who to have big games. And who are they? They're not John Havlicek. They're not Bailey Howell.
Larry Bird.
Larry Siegfried. Larry Bird.
Bob Cousy.
We want more white players. And I can't put it any simpler than that. Where I come from in the Irish Catholic district of Boston, we don't need that shit. We got Kyrie Irving the fuck out of there very early. You know what he found out, Bronk?
What did he find out?
The proof that the world is flat. He came to the edge of it in Boston, and he fell off.
Wow.
I mean, that's Tommy Heinsohn. He'll tell you. I mean, and this is the most easy to anticipate story. You know, you knew they were going to lose Game 6 because they're the Warriors, and they were shooting through the walls of heartache because they are the Warriors. Bang, bang.
God, who did that song? I can't remember.
Patti Smith.
Patti Smith.
Patty Smythe, if you want to call her that.
Smythe
John
of the
McEnroe's.
Motels?
No. Who was... now you're going to make me think of the lead singer's name from
Martha
the Motels.
Davis, maybe.
Martha Davis, yeah. So...
Patty Smythe.
Yeah, Patty Smythe, and I forget what her band's name was at the time. Patty Smythe.
Well, we're lucky.
God, I'm having a bad day today. I'll think of it. Yeah, but you look at the way that this thing was going to go, and they came out.
Scandal.
A scandal. That's right,
Yeah.
scandal. Yeah.
Yeah.
They came out with a 12-2 lead, the Celtics did, and they scored 6 points for the rest of the game. You know, everything just fell apart. The wheels came off. They looked terrible. Nobody picked it up. Nobody did what they were supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But get this. The message from the Celtics is that the future's bright and that this loss was, in their eyes, just the beginning.
Wow.
Tim Bruck 3. The future's so bright, I got to wear shades. Okay? I got one band name right in today's show because I was starting to flail. It's definitely tough, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart said of Boston's 103-90 loss to Golden State. It's definitely one of those things we've been through hell to get here, and you take that. You know what I'm saying? We've got to use that. Wait for it. It's going to be tough. That's what I know for myself. I'm viewing it and looking at all the shit we had to go through to get here, just to even get to the situation and have an opportunity. Wait for it. We just got to be better. We just got to be better.
You did the Kevin Stefanski.
Got to be better.
I gotta call better plays. Wow. I hate Boston. All their teams should lose. So,
according to Jason Tatum, it was Boston's poise on the offensive end that repeatedly failed the Celtics as they committed one turnover after another. They had 22 turnovers in Game 6, while Tatum, who finished with an NBA record 100 turnovers in this postseason. Now, how in the hell... the most ever by a player in a single playoffs.
That's a great stat. How do you even have the ball 100 times to turn it over?
I think that's this postseason, not this series, but this whole postseason. It's unbelievable. Wow. This guy was just throwing the ball, all over the place.
Crazy.
Yeah. And there was nothing they could do. I mean, Tatum shot 6 for 18. I mean, you just can't have that. But this is what was happening all year. They would play one good game, one bad game, one good game, one bad game, and they would just barely get through their playoffs 4-3, 4-3, and then all of a sudden, they come out and think they're going to get away with that with the Warriors, and they did not survive the Warrior.
No.
Bang bang. So I had to at least. We gotta be better. We just gotta be better.
They should just not bother interviewing losing players and coaches ever again because it's always the same answer. We're never gonna say the real reason why they choked or fucked up or or lost the game. They never
Yeah.
tell the truth.
Well, what's the truth?
The truth is, usually they're outplayed, outcoached, or outsmarted.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody doesn't rise to the occasion who makes an awful lot of money over and over again. And we're still waiting, we're still desperately waiting for the process to kick in Philadelphia. There is something interesting. The Cleveland Guardians now have a minority owner, and I don't mean somebody who is of a certain racial persuasion.
Non-Caucasian.
That's right. This guy is a guy who's got money in the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils. Is that their name?
Well, it's the ice hockey team. He can't be very smart then.
Well, I mean, but when you listen to what's happening in ownership, it's no different than what has happened with retail in this country. Yeah. And this story should prove it. Don't want to believe me, just follow the news. Former Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam will become the new owner of the NHL's Nashville Predators over a period of years. Of course, he is the brother of the inimitable Jimmy, who owns the Cleveland Browns.
Wow. Why is there even ice hockey in Tennessee? Why is that a thing?
But you see, don't you see the consolidation happening?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so now you're going to own a hockey team, a baseball team, you're going to own a basketball team.
And you know what they're also doing? They're buying English football teams. We've got my team, Ipswich, has got American owners now. It's just crazy.
And you want to know why?
Why?
I'm convinced that the smaller number of people that you can have in professional sports ownership, the tighter a lid you can keep on things.
That is absolutely correct.
And when I'm looking at how friendly gambling has become in professional athletics, I think the smaller number of owners you have, the better, because I think that there is all kinds of impropriety going on. For the first time in years, I've been getting emails from
anyone?
No, actually, maybe even Twitter stuff too, saying we want to sign your podcast up. We want you to advertise with us. And it's like, no, you want to advertise on me. And I don't do gaming, but gambling sites. I don't do that. I didn't do it. And I had a bunch of offshore people contacting me way back when I started this damn thing in 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that because something has to be unsullied, unspoiled, even if it's nonsense and drivel like this program. At least nobody can say, well, shit, welcome to Bally Sports, Ohio.
Wow, that's Satan. That actually, when people say the Antichrist, these people, that's it, man. Those are the ones. Because if they did sponsor your program, they would tell you what to say, and you'd be saying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the whole gambling thing is way too much for me. I can't. Crumbly Q is asking me a question. Really? Do your lonesome roads, Jimmy Haslam. Right now, Crumbly Q. Anybody who knows the movie A Face in the Crowd is a good guy. Okay, and if you're going to do Lonesome Roads, it's you just have to watch the movie to see the incarnation of evil, played by Andy Griffith, believe it or not.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
great movie. Yeah.
You know what I watched the other day? I watched Inherit the Wind, which is a movie I
Oh
highly
wow,
recommend.
Spencer Tracy, yeah.
Spencer Tracy and Frederick Marsh,
Oh,
and
Frederick March. He was the guy from Death of a Salesman, the original Willie Loman.
correct,
Yeah.
and it was about a story from 100 years ago, but it's still relevant today, apparently. So there you go.
This is somebody I want to say hi to.
Chad,
Chad,
woohoo!
we all love you. And Chad has been through hell recently. I'll let him describe the hell that he's been through. But
Oh
when I
God.
saw that you were back to cooking and showing your food, I knew the old Chad was coming back. So it's really, really nice to see. And I'm glad that you're here. And I hope everything is going well for you because believe it or not, through the years, the people that I know from the site and from the podcast, I really do have a warm feeling toward a lot of these people, even though some of them, in some way, shape, or form, may have disappointed me by either getting arrested in the middle of a show or saying some things that were the wrong things to say. I still have a very warm, hot spot in my heart for people who have been engaged in this podcast. And the feeling is definitely mutual. And Chad is it's another example of us two guys bonded over cars, and Cleveland sports. Yeah, politically we're very different, but boy, there's a guy who loves himself some good automobiles. So I tried to win him over with my Maserati. What can I tell you? And that's all gone, Chad. I had to sell it. God, that's what a fucking divorce does to you. Makes you sell shit.
That's grim, man. That is grim.
It is grim. Man, that was a beautiful car, though. My goodness. That was a work of art.
Well,
and I'll just give this guy his say. It's unbelievable how the Browns have failed this time. You can't even make this shit up. No, it's consistent. You know,
it's not unbelievable. It's perfectly believable. It's so believable. I am bored to death of it.
Yeah, I know. It's predictable. Every year it's the same. The Kinks. Okay.
The Kinks. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. It's been and Chad brings up the final good point. That's right. All these naturally aspirated 8-cylinder cars revving up and down the road with $5 a gallon don't make much sense. I don't have that kind of love. So, we're all going to go electric by the time all is done. Something that was so nice, though, about the sound of that engine. There was just something knowing that it was the real deal.
Wow.
But things change. Things are fast now, but God, they just don't have that throaty sound. You know, you ask any motorcycle rider why he rides a Harley, and his dick becomes much bigger because of that throaty noise that the Harley throws off. Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Bronk, hey, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And we'll be back again on Monday for the next edition of Moohead Radio. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.